aka Patters. Today we're talking Dune. Now, I had to do this intro. Well, let's crack a beer first. I had to do this intro from my hallway just to prove how much of a Dune head I am. Now, what you see here is an original Dune poster I bought in the local mall of mine, maybe 7th grade, maybe 8th grade. Got for like 20 something dollars, but this is a original one sheet movie poster. So get ready. We're talking Bill Sienkiewicz. We're drinking a PBR. It's the Dune 1984, because there's a new movie coming up. It's the Dune 1984 adaptation, Marvel Comics, in the magazine. Let's go.
The following is brought to you by AKA Pad.
We are out of that intro. Gotta put the shades on. AKA Patters. Peter A. DeLuca here. AKA The Eclectic One. AKA The Sketchbook Champ. AKA Spicy Taco. I'm back. It's the weekend, kids. We're ready to rock and roll. TGIF. Now, I said in my previous video, we're going to make more strides, going to perfect more of my process to really get one video a day to you. And look, we're talking this today, but let me show you tomorrow's. That's right, tomorrow's a later today, so I might do 2 on Friday and 1 on Saturday. I don't know, I have a big Halloween party on Saturday, but we're doing Renegade, okay? And Renegade's interesting, because you'll see here, it's a introduction right there by Todd McFarlane. Yeah, the Todd father writes an intro for this book. And we gotta go through it. But look how beat up this book is. I love it. I love it when people just give me a book and they're like, you might be into this, and it's mangled and it's destroyed. I don't know. Like, to me, if you're grading comics, go to the reservation, go to the farm. You're done. If you're collecting comics for some type of value, you're done. If you love comics, you're always drawn towards the interesting and the rare. Your collection, just by default, if you're really into the source material and you understand what you're doing as a collector, in bulk, your collection will raise in value, because you'll be drawn to these like little crevices, veins, and roots of things that pop later. Anyway, enough of that. We got this. We have the Dune official movie adaptation. Now, this was also a 3-issue miniseries. I haven't compared to the 2. That's probably a future video, because look, I'm a Dune head. I want to compare the 2 just out of like paper quality and print quality. Now, you might say, look, there's 2 ways to go about going through something like this. It's when you know there's another version out there. Objective 1 should be to know the material, just to know it, to experience it, to get through it any way possible. Now, this is very similar to like Herman Melville, right? The guy that wrote Moby Dick. Am I getting that name wrong? Alexa, who wrote Moby Dick?
Moby Dick Or. The Whale was written by Herman Melville and published in 18...
Alexa, stop. Yeah. Okay, I had it. Thank you, Alexa. So, no one's interested in the paper quality of that. No one's like, right, we go to the bookstore, we buy Moby Dick, we read Moby Dick. Look, I just wanted a way to say dick as many times in this video as possible. But there's a slight difference. See, now, we don't have to read the original Moby Dick to know the material. We just buy a reprint. That's essentially what we're buying. When it comes to comic books, the paper quality of the time it came out does help us analyze the potential psychology of the impact. Say that with me, psychology of the impact. This is why version to version is important. This is why purists are out there trying to document, curate, and hold on to some of these differences. Now, modern day Batman Year One has become somewhat of a focal point for this argument. I think this is another one, because we're talking a comic book mesa here. We're talking We're talking Bill Sienkiewicz. I'm probably gonna have to redo my intro now. The intro to this video was a reshot. I said J. Michael Straczynski. It's Bill Sienkiewicz. Okay, he's a modern master. We want to know even how he performs and how it's presented on a assignment like this. Now, this was a big deal. Dune was a very hyped, it was a pushed movie. Okay, it got a little bit of a bad reputation during production as it was popular. It was low hanging fruit when the movie went as much over budget or over time as Dune did. Now, this became a fascination when it comes to consuming movie news. Kind of started with Apocalypse Now, went to Heaven's Gate, 2 movies, went to Ishtar. Again, movies, these are all down the memory hole. Fact check me as much as you want. Dune, like Waterworld, we saw it with Titanic. Titanic said, the hell with your over budget, the hell with your, like, we're going to make the most money anyway. Kind of happened with Solo. Solo was destroyed in the press because of the reshoots, they remade that movie, doubling the budget. It was destroyed in the press, and sometimes it pulls people in, and sometimes it pushes them away. Most likely, now here's, you want to talk about some psychology? Here's the crazy thing. When most people hear that something is over budget and extended deadline, they back away. They don't care. Isn't that crazy? I don't know. Usually, these movies kind of like they pay off. You see the extra money, you do see the extra effort. Dune 100%, you see the effort, and people will be like, what about this special effect and that special effect? I don't know. It's the 80s. Don't all the special effects stink? Aren't we graced with only a few solid special effects outings that even hold up today from the 80s? Dune, I was just talking about this with someone. Don't you worry, we're going to get into this. And look, I don't care about the algorithm. I'm going to let this baby, this whole video go on for as long as it wants. So here's the thing. I was just having this discussion. There's movies out there that deserve the George Lucas treatment. Now, I'm all for, if they want to tinker with a movie until the end of time, I think as a studio, as a content holder, as a rights holder, you should be able to do that. You should be able to find ways to make as much money out of, Cleopatra, for example, or Ben-Hur, or 10 Commandments. You should be able to find ways to make money out of that as long as possible. I don't really care, because it's not mine. It's not my property. I don't own that. I didn't make the movie. It doesn't even matter. Even if I made the movie, I'm contracted and I'm out. I'm moving on to my next movie. Dune is a wonderful example of what to special editionize. There's a lot of cut scenes. There's a lot of scenes we still haven't seen yet. There's a real long version of this movie out there that still hasn't resurfaced yet. The cable version has become like the new director's cut, which isn't really a director's cut, but we can go back with special effects, even with some of the sound design. The sound in this movie is fantastic. But we can go in and we can fix Dune. Okay? Who cares? Now, there's always arguments about how this was adapted. Let me tell you. I know there's a new Dune movie coming. I don't think it matters. Dune, I think it's 2 movies. Dune is real tough to adapt. Very similar to Watchmen. Very similar to making a Avengers or JLA movie. And they're like, Pete, what's all the connective threads here? Because we're dealing with a lot. We have a lot of story elements. Things are combustible. You might say, Pete, there's been 4 Avengers movies. 2 of them were great, and 2 of them were so-so. Okay, some people think, and some people would say 3. Whatever. You can have your endgame. But I'll argue that very few of those movies are are what we would want to call Avenger movies, same as what we would say about the X-Men. But they haven't made an X-Men movie yet. It's insane. But it doesn't mean that those movies aren't good or valuable, or they are what they are. So many times people will take the expectation and they'll draw the life out of the finished product. I'm having trouble talking here. Let me just get some of this. This is my go juice. I can't do a video without some PBR nowadays. But yeah, so the expectation sucks the life out of a movie. Dune basically tells the story of Paul Atreides. And that's a good thing. It tells a freaking story. What's the story of Paul Atreides? He's a prophesized Messiah in a insanely complex political and mostly politics, scientific world. Now, I'm going to say this and we're going to jump right to the table. The reason why Dune resonates, though, has nothing to do with the sci-fi, has nothing to do with the politics. Because, like if you watch Game of Thrones or read Game of Thrones, Dune did it first when it comes to politics. Not a big deal. The first Dune novel and the Dune movie is essentially about a relationship of a father and son, and how the father's expectations of the son supersede everything. That the son is nothing like the father, and that's okay. Now, this is also a theme in the next two, the Children of Dune and Messiah of Dune, the next two novels. Okay, this is a deep running theme when it comes to Dune. It's really, to me, the point of it. Everyone likes to go to this Frank Herbert quote where he says, I was inspired by people with good intentions gaining power and going evil. Okay, and he saw what was happening in the 60s, early 70s. Civil upheaval, very similar to today, just straight out civil unrest. I'm not making any comments on who's right or who's wrong, what side I'm even. Nope, we're talking Dune. So it's not really about that. It really is a relationship between a father and son. This is why Dune, I think, resonated with my father and I, because those were like the parts in the quotes that we quoted back to one another, until he died, essentially. Until my father passed away, we quoted Dune to one another. He called me Usul like all the time. Every Dune reference. Okay, everyone, let's hit that table. Let's do a flip through. We have a modern master. Look at this intro here. Now, before we get into this, I'm going to prep you guys on Sienkiewicz. You have to know Sienkiewicz in order to go through this, and there's a reason for it. All right, here we go. Let's move that. So everyone, it's been Inktober. This is a quick glimpse of my Inktober sketchbook. I'm using the Inktober prompts and using horror movie themes. On top of those prompts, this is look, if you guys want to see me upset at drawing, this upset me. Pirates of the Caribbean guy and Freddy Krueger here really upset me. I don't know. I so lost it with this drawing. Here we go though. Bill Sienkiewicz. Now I'm trying to get better with some of the lighting here. So the future better lighting is coming. Let me just position this. Hey, I'm all for comic book tablet reading, by the way. So, cheers to you all. What are we looking at here? We're looking at a toothbrush splattered Moonlight. Okay, right? Toothbrush splattered Moonlight, and we have a lot of like whiteout pen or just straight up whiteout. Maybe even acrylic, like scratching on the cover. The reason why I'm choosing this is because everyone wants to go Sienkiewicz New Mutants. The New Mutants movie that just came out adapted a chunk of the Sienkiewicz run on New Mutants. Okay, whatever. If you want a great issue of New Mutants that doesn't have the name Liefeld connected to it, go to New Mutants 1975. Okay, that's a great issue. Now, let's just go through this. What do we see? We see a lot of. Let me just grab it. We see a lot of photo reference. Okay, we see a lot of photo stats. Okay, photo stat drawn skyscraper here. Very simply drawn skyscraper. I mean, look at this. I mean, the speed of this is just insane. So, but this is early Sienkiewicz. This is him making a name for himself at Marvel Comics. See, this is why this run is classic. He brought an imagery to this. Now, here's the crazy thing. A lot of people think comic book artwork is always great, always awesome. No. Most comic book artwork is it's regurgitated plastic. It's very vanilla. Guys like Sienkiewicz, when they come in, look, my battery's almost dead. When Sienkiewicz comes in and he brings the fire and he brings like a dynamic aspect and coloring. Look at the light blue, look at the pink. I love this page so much. When you bring in a dynamicism, I'm not even sure if that's a word, dynamicism of panel to panel effects, excitement, you become a comic book legend, because most of the market, most of your contemporaries are not taking the chances that Sienkiewicz took during this. This leads to this. Elektra Assassin. Okay, now this becomes the seminal Sienkiewicz work. He's working with Frank Miller, and look, you see, there's a guy named David Mack. David Mack is like the love child of Sienkiewicz. Go look up Kabuki, look up David Mack. Okay, so we see this is an art house. This is an art school. This is an art lesson. This is nothing but experimentation and challenging of the form, challenging of the format, challenging of the way this is printed. Now, it's what I said earlier. I want experiences. I can buy this on Xology for $2. I can hunt down the original floppy if I wanted to. I can hunt down a earlier trade paperback or a graphic novel if I want to experience this in a different way. But as of now, we are seeing a fully formed artist experimenting, challenging everything. He's out of using photo references for this, or if they're there, they're so subtle. So why is the Dune adaptation important? Luckily, it's right here. We can jump right into it. The Dune adaptation is important because it's like this convergence of his Moon Knight phase and his Elektra Assassin phase. So we'll see that in right here, my teaser here, the opening page. Let's just get that positioned. Some of this. And what do I mean by that? Sienkiewicz is adapting. He's using photographs. He's also improvising. He's also creating on the spot. His use of Black Saloon on this page, on the opening page with the Emperor, it's phenomenal. There's so much photo reference used here, but it's balanced, and he adds these little touches. The pink paneling is great. The open paneling is incredible. He's letting this stuff breathe either through negative or through black. This is his greatest work, okay? This is one of the greatest photo adapted works that we've ever seen. Look at Paul Atreides here. I mean, it looks just like Kyle MacLachlan, doesn't it? We have comic book effects. We have some of that inside baseball comic book knowledge. These are just he's talking to the comic book audience with these effects. We have Paul with his hand in the box. Look at this. But see, some of the ideas within the story, they become abstract. This is why Dune is so good to adapt, because you can portray this stuff in so many different ways. Okay, look at the Baron. I love the black nails. So we see, we can almost smell the deadline as we're flipping through this. The deadline's marching on, but look, you draw a kiss as good as this, you can use photographs. Everyone's like, Norman Rockwell. They always use these dumb arguments when it comes to other artists that use photographs, and even trace, because tracing is very prevalent today. Even a-holes that trace that just don't have it. Trace if you have it, okay? Trace if you know how to improvise, if you know your blacks, if you predict what the coloring's going to be, so you play into it. Some of these are great. Like the conversations are fantastic in this. I mean, look at the hair. Look at the hair. Oh my god! Like this is me getting the nut off. Okay, but let's go to some of these Dune landscapes. Awesome. See, like today, I think today's standards, this would be computer colored. There would be some ridiculously overly rendered CGI sky behind this. Today we do not let the line work or the artwork or the paneling breathe. It's claustrophobic. Okay, so we have some abstract things here. We have a sandworm destroying the spice miner. It needs to be like epic and destructive and a little bit nuanced in like the power of these worms. And like we get some electricity here. The coloring, the green, it's not there. Like, it's tough. You have to color this because look, we have everything in the gray palette here. We can't use red. We can't use purple. We maybe have to use green and get away with some of the effects and the explosions and the demonstration of the power. Maybe we have to use green. Here we use blue. It doesn't matter. Look, I love over here, like the little ship just like zipping away. I want to say this was like a closed-in page that wasn't a splash, and they just kind of like blew it out. So, yeah, we got some cool things here. Look, the paneling, the betrayals happening, right? The Harkonnens have spies within the Atreides ranks, and the father gets hit. So he fades away again. Fantastic paneling here. The shape of the panel, the action of the panel, the ferocity of the panel. It's incredible. So look, this is, we know Thor, right? We know Walt Simonson. These are Walt Simonson explosion effects. I almost want to say Walt Simonson was walking by Sienkiewicz when he was working on this, and he goes, "What's that there?" And he goes, "Well, I gotta draw the Atreides castle and their fortress just getting destroyed by the Harkonnens." And he goes, "Oh, so you have to draw explosions?" And Walt Simonson just like draws the explosions real quick for Sienkiewicz. See, look, we're dealing with storytelling. We're not dealing with design or world building, but like we know we're on a desert like place and like a desert world, and so we have to draw palm trees because the world isn't designed yet, because you're on a deadline and you just have to draw things. You have to communicate desert when you can, and that's a really good example of just communicating. I love this spread here. Look at the Atreides completely obliterated rubble. I'm a rubble whore, like rubble slut. Okay, if there's rubble, I'm like memorizing it. And this is awesome. This is the Baron Harkonnen over the Lady Jesuit. I'm forgetting her name. Jeez. I'm sure it's right in here somewhere. Okay, but anyway, he's Jessica, Lady Jessica. He's over the. We're just going to term. This is a fantastic. I just love it. Okay, really big brain farts there, but yeah. So let's just go. I mean, like that. Look at the contrast of black and white is just fantastic. Another really strong silhouette page here. See, but look, we add details when we can, just like those palm trees. Like, look, we have a horizon. Give us 2 moons. Let us know we're, like, reminding us we're on an alien world. And here we go. We have Paul fading into the... Wait, is this a cutscene? I think this is... This might be a cutscene. So this isn't Paul. This looks like the Emperor. And we have the Duke. And, again, like comic book language here, comic book methodology. We have to portray some type of psychic connection, some type of transition. The reading of this is just incredible because it's like a number two. Loving it. Okay, again, let's remind everyone we're on an alien world. Love the splatter here, right? Toothbrush splatter all the way. You never back away from your roots. Okay, and we have a continuation of that psychic connection here. Again, really fun, cool stuff. We have to do something. These circles, you'll see these a lot in a lot of trade paperbacks, like novels and stuff, album covers of the time, even textbooks that portrayed some type of like mental transition with circles and repeating circles. This idea, again, like this language too, like kind of would even lends itself to the Infinity Crisis with the George Perez artwork. Just this idea of something repeating, like a slowing down of time. It's like I said, this is part of what we communicate. This is why every comic book you read is important, because we have to dissect and we have to know what's happening when and where. This is only if you want to like just know more. You can read this, you can mindlessly read this and just forget it all. Look at the amount of dialogue that's packed on here. I mean, like this is crazy. I think he might have had a full script when he drew this page, because like everything is placed like perfectly. Like you sketch out where the words go and you draw around it. So we're almost at the end here. Paul Atreides has ascended to his Messiah level. Dune's going to start raining. See, we have like stuff like this too. The imagery of the sandworm in the container, like in contained and trapped. This is not in the movie at all. Like we get this in the movie, and then like it starts raining. This is not there. Okay, this isn't there. So like this is also why this stuff's very, very important. Oh wait, you know what though? No, I think this is one of the cut scenes. This is the birth of the baby sandworm, and they drink the water of the baby sandworm, and they transcend into, they transform their mind. This is Paul's sister, right, drinking it, and she goes into her like psychedelic craziness. Again, these are some of the ideas from a science fiction level that make Dune as unique as it is. I will say, I'll go back. This pose might have been a publicity pose. This could have been used in a lot of the licensing. Not that there was too much licensing, but the licensing around Dune. And we have the Great War. We have this guy's played by Batista now in the new movie. But the Atreides have to get their revenge. And look, he must have had good references, because the still suits here, the transporters, like this feels like the movie. It really does. And boom, another sandworm coming. Look, sandworms, even today, a new Dune book just came out this week from Boom. I guarantee that the sandworm in that isn't. This is a tough thing to draw. You have to communicate it. You're on a deadline. What you do, we just like scratch a lot. We have the Baron bathing in blood. Everything's melting down around him. So even in everything, like Paul's sister ascends. Okay, she becomes like another being herself because of her like heritage. This is just straight up. This is very, very Miller, very Elektra assassin. This is great here. This idea of her attacking the Emperor, right? Not the Baron. Look, sandworms, so tough to draw. Sandworms, tough to draw. This is maybe the worst spread in the entire book here. I'm usually into any type of like lettering on top of a page. They're chanting Moa deep here. See, like this publicity shot too. Like it might have just been like photo statted. See, like boom, boom, like like he's kind of drawing the same thing. Down goes the Emperor. Down goes the Harkonnens. The sister gets hers against the Baron. Sandworms doing stuff. Look, I want to say like this stuff was maybe like in the script. Paul using the sandworms as a weapon, almost as a river against the Harkonnen army and the Emperor's army, isn't in the movie. this is why these adaptations are interesting, because they're working off of a script of a movie that's not released and not done. It's not finished. And we have Sting, we have Fade versus Paul Atreides. Fade takes the Emperor's knife. Boom, they are ready to rock and roll. We have a fight. Hey, see, we're in a crazy, insane, futuristic sci-fi world, but so far into the future we can't even imagine it. But we have a knife fight. There's a point to that, even from a storytelling perspective. Knife fight, Paul wins. Paul uses his wielding way, shatters Fade, breaks him, and then we're done, and it starts raining on Arrakis. So we do have some cut scenes. Now look, see, I just love this. I love the graphic design. I love the purple here for the border. Nice image on the back. But we do have some here, this is a cut scene, cut moment. We have the birth of the baby worm. Let's get back there. So that's right here, the birth of the baby worm. These are two ideas definitely not in the movie. The birth of the baby worm is in the sci-fi or the cable extended cut. You'll find that there. Let me just see if there's just anything else. People, I haven't read this. I wanted to do a true blind flip through, just so you guys see a little bit of my thought process when I flip through something. See, even this scene of the navigator transporting everything, because they kind of fold space. Tough thing to portray. Very cool though. This is Bill doing his best there. But everyone, rocking and rolling. Let's close out. All right, everyone, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for going through this epic masterpiece with me. As you know from the previous video, this video was a tribute to my father. He's the one that, just growing up, it was a lot of movies, it was a lot of toys, it was a lot of comic books once I got into them. Never held me back, never said no. Really gave me the mindset to just do things, and look, a lot of what I do here, a lot of what I do on the drawing table, even my 9 to 5, that attitude, that idea carries through to me all the time. And look, a lot of you, I reach out to a lot of you personally, and what was said and done to me back then, I try and pass it on. But everyone, next episode, cheers, rock and roll.